Hi everyone, my name is Liz Boyer, and we are on day 12 of our Lent, and we are still in John chapter 6, and we're at the end of it. And in verse 63, Jesus is speaking, and he's saying, "The Spirit gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken to you, they are full of the Spirit and life." And then in 65, he went on to say, "This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless the Father has enabled them." And so at this point, a bunch of disciples are thinking Jesus is talking about cannibalism, the drinking of his blood, the eating of his flesh, and many of which the disciples just hightailed it out of there. And he went to ask the 12 apostles, "Are you going to do the same?" And while I don't think they fully understood what Jesus was talking about, I believe they trusted him. They trusted him because they had a relationship with him. And sometimes we don't always understand right away what God is trying to say to us, either through the word or through other avenues, but we trust and we ask the Spirit to help us to understand it. And disciple literally means Christ follower. So my brain automatically goes to is, why did they leave? Were they just following Jesus blindly? Were they following this new cool religion that came out? Were they following an awesome teacher who could speak well? Did they like watching his miracles and the signs he would do? And I think many of us, we just get caught up into that trap of what Christianity can do for us, and we forget about that relationship piece. And before I went all in with Jesus, the Bible just hadn't quite come alive for me yet. I was very much a lukewarm Christian. I'd throw a few verses out there, just kind of fit the narrative of what I wanted to say and just completely botching the context of it all. I would pray when things would get really bad in my life and just look to others for advice, even when it wasn't always biblical. And in Revelations 3:15, Jesus speaks about Christians and how he feels about lukewarm Christians. And I wanted to read that off to you. So we're in chapter 3 of Revelation and verse 15. And this is Jesus. He says, "I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. So, because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth." So when I'm reading that, Jesus makes it very clear how he feels about lukewarm Christians. And with Jesus being fully God and fully human, he led this perfect life. But then he already knew we were going to mess up. He knew we weren't going to get it perfect like him. And guess what? He loves you anyway. He loves me anyway. Not because we're good, but because he's good. And my prayer for you today is that you would go all in with Jesus, like full heart all in with Jesus, because the Spirit gives life, and no one can come to Jesus unless the Father has enabled them.